Morning, buddy.
Morning, buddy.
Go on. What was you going to say? You wasn't going to say anything. Okay. So today, who have I got? You see, I wondered about this. I didn't know what I was going to do, and then I thought, do you know what? Let's pull the boat out a bit. So I've got a few guests.
Have you?
Yeah, quite a few. More than what we normally have. And they have one thing in common. I'm not going to tell you what that is. You've got to guess that. But shall I let them in?
Yeah.
So yes, Wayne, this is your complete support act lineup.
It's like a school reunion.
It's like a school reunion. So we've got Scott Penrose, Keelan Laser, David Penn, Duncan Trillo, and Phil Hitchcock. There's one missing. Do you know who that is?
Dominic Wood.
Dominic Wood. Yes,
he did.
I have texted him to say get his ass on here, but as yet I'm waiting for the reply. He's doing something for Radio 2 today, which is the reason why he said he couldn't do it.
So he might join us at some point.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
So guys, thank you very much for joining us on our coffee morning. It's brilliant that you're all here.
Great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, Wayne.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think we should start at the top, and
you know what's really good is that they all supported me, but they all went off and did different directions, and they've all been really successful in what they do now.
So are you saying it was all because of you?
No, I'm the only one on benefits. It was nice. It was nice having them because it gave a chance for the general public, i.e. the sun readers, to see a different type of magic.
Absolutely.
Which is what I wanted.
And to be quite honest, I'm looking at everybody, and it's an eclectic mix of people and magic genres, and nobody did the same act.
No.
So you had a plethora of different magic during your tours as well, which is great. So I thought we'd start at the top, and obviously the first person that supported you was the wonderful Duncan Trillo. So Duncan, could you just give us an idea of what it was like? And this is probably for every one of you, what it was like. And do you have any gossip with regarding to touring with Wayne?
Wow. Okay. We're going back a long way. Where are we going back to? About 1990, Wayne, or?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
Something like that. And I'm trying to remember what the first one was. Was it?
Probably Paynton.
Paynton.
Yeah.
Paynton. Yeah. I mean, for me at the time, I was a silent magician. So for me to suddenly be on a magic show was fantastic, because up until then, like most of us during the 80s and 90s in the UK, if you were a working magician, a silent magician, there was hardly anywhere to work. And the fun of being on Wayne's show with Wayne was all of a sudden you've got this audience coming to see a magic show. So at the time, that was amazing, wasn't it, Wayne, to have people sitting there to see magic?
Yeah, good. I remember my neurologist said, I saw that guy with the thimbles on TV. I remember. Yeah, he said, oh, I love them thimbles.
Yeah, that's a funny one, the thimbles. I think every magician who's ever done thimbles wonders why, but it's kind of fun at the time. Yeah. One lasting memory for me working with Wayne was, because over the years, I think I did quite a few different places and venues and all sorts. And just about always when Wayne did his vent act, I used to come out of the dressing room and watch in the wings.
Right.
And I know it's a sort of ridiculously cliched expression, crying with laughter, but as everyone knows, you literally cried with laughter watching that vent routine, and the audience cried, and it didn't matter how many times you saw it, it was always just it's the funniest piece of patter magic ever for me. Loved it.
Yeah.
Great, thank you, Duncan.
No, thank you.
So once we got we had Duncan, then we went on to Bill. Bill was the next one. Okay.
Yay!
Yeah.
So then you've gone from one extreme, silent act, to another extreme.
Phil did quite a lot with me. You did some TV with me.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I was so lucky, so fortunate, and privileged as well to be a part of the show. Did summer seasons, did tours. Yeah, you got me my first TV, and we did some corporate as well.
Yeah.
And just loved it. I've got to add to what Duncan said. Really, I mean, Duncan said it all there. Just brilliant to be a part of your show and your team. It was like a family. I mean, you're so privileged, even just to go and stay at your house and go swimming in your swimming pool before breakfast time. I mean, how cool was that? That was just
when I think back, it was a big show, wasn't it?
yeah.
A lot of illusions and shit.
I've got a costume trunk here, which is full of some of the assistants' costumes, some of Wayne's suits. There's a couple of Sam Shovel hats in there as well.
Wow.
And I treasure these items. And today I was going through the pockets of one of the suits and I found this. This is an absolutely wonderful piece. Listen to this. This is the local crew cue sheet, basically. Listen to this for a show. You started off with a head table. You then went into your pyramid illusion. From that into the zigzag, then you went into your own spot. After that, you did the Excalibur. After that, the clear escape. Then it was the barrels. Then it was the buzzsaw. That's just Act 1. Any of those illusions would close a show, a Vegas show today, and you pack them all into Act 1. And then you go to Act 2, and you're up with the snowstorm, the origami box, the folding shadows, and then it's your main spot, and then that would go into getting the kid out of the audience. And then you go from that into Sam Shovel, and then you go into the Azra at the end. I mean, what a show! Nobody does a show like that is resident, let alone touring. You were doing one-nighters with this. And I mean, for me, doing a Dove act, it was a dream come true to sit and watch. I used to turn up at the theatre early. Somebody taught me a long time ago that success leaves clues, and just to go and turn up. So I turn up early at the theatre, and you would be sat in the audience with the mic, and you'd be staging the show, and you'd be lighting it from the audience. And I just used to go and sit and soak it up and just watch your work, watch you light it all. And it was just wonderful. And one of my favorites, I know it was one of your favorite illusions, was the Azra. Just beautiful. Now, like most other magicians, I've seen everybody from David Copperfield, Siegfried and Roy, Lance Burton do this piece. But you did something with the Azra that I've never seen any other magician do in the last 25, 35 years that I've known about that particular illusion.
Right.
And I'd watch you light it. This was great. This was something that you don't find in any books anywhere. Yeah, you can read the illusion. You can find out, but the secret of staging it and lighting it. And I'd sit in the audience, and the illusion would be set on stage, and you'd see everything that was going on. And then in the process of about 5 or 10 minutes, you'd make adjustments to the staging, and the secret for this illusion would slowly just vanish. It would just disappear. And it was a real lesson in staging and lighting. And such a beautiful illusion. But what you would do with the cloth, and I remember talking to Eddie Dawes, Professor Eddie Dawes, about this. And because I said to Eddie, I said, "Has there anybody else ever done it like this?" And he was like, "No, it's Wayne's." And you would do the cloth so slowly. Everybody else snatches it off. Go on YouTube. Everybody snatches that cloth off, and it's brilliant. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But you would do it slow motion. You would just it was just so slow that that person, which was you, would just melt away slowly. Nobody's ever done it like that in the past.
So we went from Phil and we went to Scott. Hi, Scott.
Hello. Good to see you.
So when did you join Wayne?
Scott did Yarmouth for me, didn't you, Scott?
That's right. Did Yarmouth and the theatre that was in Enfield as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, but mostly at the end of the pier in Yarmouth. So I remember, well, it's at the end of the pier, and you have to literally roll. I can just remember all these illusions just being rolled down the pier.
Yeah.
Normally, you just sort of do a get-in, don't you? And you just do it into the scene dock. But you know, working on a pier theatre is like completely different. So you've got a sort of third of a mile to do, you know, to roll it down the pier. And then the scene dock, I remember being at a humongous angle.
Yeah.
Because the pier is very narrow, and therefore the scene dock there's next to none of it. So you'd let these illusions go as they just whiz down this scene dock, and you catch them at the other end. But that was great. You know, they say that everybody knows where they were when JFK was shot.
Well, you may be right, actually.
Right. So everybody knows when Princess Diana died, where they were, and that was 31st of August, 97. And I remember driving home. Yeah. That would have been August 97 when we did one of those shows. But it was we asked Duncan about gossip, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
and it was it was Phil that reminded me of a bit of gossip, actually. Because he read out that sheet with all the illusions on. Yeah. And the illusion list is exactly the same as what we did at Yarmouth. And I remember all these beautiful illusions. I'd only ever seen things made by Jack Hughes, you know, zigzags and that thing. And then suddenly you get to see this amazing John Gorn stuff. And I'm a big fan of John Gorn's, as a lot of people know now. Yeah. And there was this beautiful folding shadows. Yeah. It had the Chinese type bow at the top, like you have on the top of an entranceway to a you know, sort of religious building in China. Anyway, so there's this huge sort of Chinese decoration on top of the folding shadows. Do you remember what was written on the back of it?
No.
Well, this thing used to get in the way, and written on the back of it with marker pen. I don't know who did it. It was written "Mind head."
Yeah,
people used to keep banging their head on it backstage in the dark. Yeah, I'll never forget that, and it was Phil that reminded me of that.
Yeah.
You wrote it.
Yeah, I did.
David, so you joined Wayne when in?
I think early 2000s or something like that. I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Late 90s.
Late 90s.
I think,
and a lot of I heard Scott use the word, and I want to say this up front. What an opportunity. It's all about the opportunity, and we thank you, Wayne, for giving me this opportunity. And the word inspiration is banded around so many times in the magic community, but you really are an inspiration. I met you just at the right time in what has now become a career. But I look around this gallery of people, I see Duncan, Keelan, Phil, and Scott, and I know that they got into your show because of their ability. That didn't happen with me. I was literally a nuisance. I was a stalker. I was a Wayne Dobson stalker. And
I must interject here. Going through all the old footage of Wayne on A Kind of Magic, you're always in the front row, bud.
Oh, every show. I was there when Duncan filmed his bit for A Kind of Magic. I was there. I was backstage with Pat Page, Linda, and you know, I became so much of a nuisance. I think Central TV thought I worked for Wayne. but there was Mick Hanslick, who's no longer with us, who was very kind and always drove us up there for the filming. And I was always backstage, and Wayne was very, very good to me, even though I was nothing more than a fanboy at that stage. And when I say fanboy, I took it to another level. Like, I found this picture this morning, Mike, which I'll send over to you.
Wow, I'll drop that into the video.
We are literally dressed the same as each other. I am dressed in this picture exactly the way Wayne used to dress on the Joe Longthorne show.
Wow.
It's like I went round and imitated Wayne Dobson all the time.
We now come to your last performer of these people gathered, because we have missing Keelan. So Keelan, you joined Wayne towards the end of Wayne's touring career, if you like.
Yeah, I think I was around 16, 17, so it probably was before David Penn's, actually. Because if you were late 90, I think I was around 97, probably the same time as Scott, maybe. But we did, I think Dominic would have done most of your tour, and there was a few dates he couldn't do, so he sort of called me to cover for him, and it was organised by Paul Kauser. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, he was my stage manager at the time.
Yeah, so for me it was a complete honour, because of a very, very similar situation to David. I wasn't as much of a stalker, but I was kind of more of a passive stalker. So I think I went to 5 or 6 of your tours, and that's why I have so many of your brochures, because every time I went to a brochure, the only way to meet you was to get I wanted an autograph. So I kept on buying these brochures so I could have an excuse to speak to you at the end to get another autograph, which I already had 5 or 6 autographs from previous shows. And it's exactly the same as David. I will have the same baggy jackets with the long sleeves. I make sure my mum made me some patterned shirts with the sleeves that came down to here, so I could roll them up in the Wayne Dobson style. Yeah. So to get that call from Dom and then to Paul Kauser to perform for you was just incredible, and the same as everyone else. Seeing, for me, the one that really struck me, and I think David bought the illusion off you in the end, was the Pyramid Illusion. So for me to see that backstage was stunning. It's such a beautiful illusion. It's one that I would have loved to perform for myself. I'm probably a little bit tall for that prop, but yeah, absolutely. I just remember that ball going up into the air and those petals from the pyramid sort of like falling down like automatically and then going back up. Such a beautiful illusion.